Hey everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my weekly Tea Time and a Card. I'm just going to give it a few seconds. I can see everybody coming on. Welcome everyone. If you are watching this on YouTube, I do these classes weekly on my Stamp and Ink Designs group on Facebook. Just a few announcements before I get started. You can see that I'm using some new products today. I'll go over those in a minute. I just want to mention we have a couple more weeks left with our starter kit promotion. That's where you can join the Stamping Up family. You can pick up to $155 worth of products of your choice from both catalogs for $99. And you also get free shipping, a free paper pumpkin kit. This is worth so much money, and what a great time to join the family. And you know, a lot of people always ask me, I don't want to do what you do. You don't need to. You don't need to have classes or workshops or parties. Just think of it as joining a discount club. You get 20% off your orders after you join. It's just a great time to join. And this only goes on until the end of the month. Now, one thing that we've been doing the whole month of October with Stamping Up for demonstrators, they've been hosting classes for us. That's why I'm going an hour later on Facebook. We've been using the Splendid Thoughts bundle, which includes all of these dies, the Splendid stems. Each week we use the same stamp set, the same bundle, and we've been making one card. It's called Mystery Stamping. I just wanted to show you all three cards. This was the first one that we made. We did a whitewash in the background with some white embossing and then these little die cut branches. That was week number 1. Week number 2, and I am going to be doing a class on this because a lot of people had never seen this before. It's actually, let me grab our soft pastels assortment. Look at the color in the background. We actually used these, and like I said, a lot of people bought these and they haven't used them yet. So I'm going to show you how we did that with the card. We actually used Versamark ink for the background and then added some die cuts. That was week 2, and tonight, week 3, we made this card. This is an over-the-top card, but we added some gilded leafing to the background. Look at all the pretty layers. Some gold ribbon. I have gold embossing on the sentiment also. Another pretty card. So we have one more week that we're going to be participating in a demonstrator only class. So that's another good thing about joining. You get to participate in some Stamping Up events. Now I want to show something that I have going on in my group. The event is now closed. It's a trade card swap. I had I can't remember, I think 35 people signed up for the trade card swap. So this was mine. I've already mailed it out. The trade card swap is this little layer right here that you see. We made 5 each and sent them out. And then what we do with the trade cards, they're all complete. We just add them to a card front. And this is how I decorated my card. So thanks to you guys that did sign up to do the trade card swap. I can't wait to get my cards in the mail. Okay, now let's go over the framed florets collection. This is a new collection that's going to start on November 1st for customers all the way to January 4th. But for you guys that always wait to order when we have new bundles come out, don't wait, because these are, as usual, they're while supplies last. So some of these might run out. And you can see here, it includes some dies, 2 stamp sets, designer paper, and embellishments. Now, last week when I was live, I kind of made a boo-boo. I talked about these 2 stamp sets, and I said that I had not ordered the framed and festive. I goofed on that. I had to go back and look at my order because this is part of the collection if you order the whole collection. Stamping Up forgot to include it in my order, so I called them and they have one coming. So this is the framed florets, which I'm using tonight. These are the dies. Here's one of the ovals. And I'm going to flip this over. Now this one here that you see with the little hearts, this does not cut out an oval. It just cuts out the hearts in the shape of an oval. But you can also use this one to cut out a hole in the center if needed. And then the other dies go with the stamped images, and you'll see that I've used some tonight. One last thing is the designer paper. I've already used almost all of the 2 sheets that this one was on. These are some of the patterns. And I'm going to quickly flip this over to the next side. And I told you last week this is my favorite. I'm a blue person. I love this sheet right here. And I can't remember, I think it's this one. Yes, this one here, you can actually take this die and it'll cut out that flower. I haven't looked at the other ones yet, but I know that this one cuts out this flower. So it's pretty neat when the dies coordinate with the designer paper. Okay, let me show you what I'm using tonight. I have this long, like a bow-shaped floral. And the sentiment is just a little reminder that you are loved. Night of Navy ink. Now I've gone ahead and cut out my pieces ahead of time. This is the embellishments, the gold adhesive back swirls. Don't know if you'll be able to see the swirls on that if I bring it close up. What I love is they're so flat. I love flat embellishments. Easier to mail. Now I've used this branch die to cut out with soft succulent. We have 2 leaves that go in opposite directions with Night of Navy. And then I have 4 pieces of designer paper. They're all 1 inch wide. I have 2 that are 5 inches long and 2 that are 3 3/4 inches long. For my card base, I have thick basic white 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. So I'm going to fold that on the score line. And then a scrap piece of Blushing Bride for stamping. Now, this is a nice card to show you how to use scraps of designer paper. I'm going to bring the card in. This is my card, and I kind of weaved the pieces through. Very simple, but it uses 4 different patterns and just makes a really nice card. So let me bring all my pieces in. Oh, you know what I forgot? Let me grab my Blushing Bride Stampin' Right marker. Make sure I got the right one. I did forget that. I did use that just a little bit in the center of each flower. Now the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and stamp the bow, the flowered bow, using the Night of Navy ink. I'm going to bring in my mini machine to cut that out. And let me get the die that I need. Now I just noticed I have a really big crack in my cutting plate. I do have a spare set that I'm going to need to dig out because I think that one's going to fall apart pretty soon. I'm going to go ahead and place this around my image, and I'm going to use washi tape to hold it in place. So what I try to do is avoid where my clear plate is cracked. So I've gone ahead and cut that out. Now this is where I use my marker. I'm using the brush tip, and I'm just coloring on the inner part of the leaves just to add a little bit of color. I'm trying really hard not to smudge the Night of Navy ink, so I'm going around it. We got one right here. I think we got like 5 flowers. Yeah, 5 total. So it's tone on tone because I'm using Blushing Bride on Blushing Bride. But see how much color that adds. Now let me bring these in. And we're going to go ahead. Oh, I have a piece of white missing. Let me grab my white. So the second layer, I'm just going to cut this in half. But the second layer is 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. You guys, I've been working on craft fair stuff. I have a big craft fair in November. I thought I was ready for this card, but I missed a layer. Now, in order for me to weave this through, what I did is I added adhesive just on one end. I'm going to start with this one, about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. Here's number 2. Now I need to trim this just a little bit on the ends. So I haven't glued down the second end yet. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And I'm going to weave this through. Go 1/8 of an inch from the end. Now this one needs to go under. I'm going to use my paper piercer just to hold that up. And I'll bring this closer so you can see how I did that. So you can see I weaved this one under this piece, and then I weaved that one under this piece. Now I just need to glue these in place. Whoops. Okay, those are all set. Next, I'm going to glue the flowered bow onto the card front with dimensionals. I just added 2. I'm kind of going to sweep it this way. Now, let me go ahead and add my sentiment. And now all I need to do is glue my die cuts. And I'm going to tuck those under. So that one's going to go right there, but make sure I don't cover the sentiment. And then I'm going to add the 2 leaves. And again, this was Soft Succulent and Night of Navy. It's really like a clean and simple card, but because of all the patterns of the designer paper, it really adds a lot of color. Now I'm going to go ahead and add these pretty little swirls. Whoops. And then I'm going to flip this over and add more dimensionals. So I know I have a lot of demonstrators watching. How many of you guys have ordered this bundle, this collection? I just love it. Stampin' Up! Always outdoes itself. I mean, it's unreal, some of the products they come out with. Just when you think they can't get any better, they always do. Okay, and this is going to go on the front. So there's my card. Isn't that pretty? With just a little bit of color on the flowers. So that's this card. Oh, look what I have over here, you guys. I have products to make a second card with you tonight. I'm going to do 2 cards. So let me move this one over. Now, this is kind of a clean and simple. Now I'm going to do a wow card. Polished Pink and Soft Succulent. I'm not going to show you the card just yet. I have a lot of layers on this one. I'm going to start with the Polished Pink. 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So let me go ahead, use my bone folder. Number 2 is 6 by 4.5, scored at 3. And the third piece is 3.5 by 3.5, scored at 1 3/4. So all 3 of these pieces are folded. You get 3 little cards. Then we have 3 pieces of Whisper White, oh, not Whisper White, Basic White, 5 1/4 by 4, 4 1/4 by 2 3/4, 3 1/4 by 1.5, 3 pieces of designer paper, 5 1/4 by 4. They're the same measurements as the white, but I'm going to repeat. 5 1/4 by 4, 4 1/4 by 2 3/4, 3 1/4 by 1 1/2, a scrap piece of Blushing Bride, and then I use the same branch as card number 1 with Basic White and Soft Succulent. Okay, let me bring, and I'm using different colors. I'm going to show you the completed card, but I'm using different colors. This one was Night of Navy and Balmy Blue. So this is a 3-layered card. It's got the small card in the front, that way. Then we have card number 2. Then we have card number 3. And what I did with them is I glued them all equal on the bottom so that you can open it up this way. Isn't that neat? So I'm going to start out with the little card on the front. We're going to glue. And you know what? I'm not sure what color. Okay, I'm going to use this color. Yep. So this is a triple card. We're going to glue that there. Now let's do the inside. So this one takes a little longer. I'm going to grab all my stamps. Okay, this one is Wishes for a Beautiful Birthday. Let me grab some scrap paper. And this, wait, I can't see. This just fits on this stamp, on this cardstock. There's that one. Now I want to add the little flower. I'm going to use Soft Succulent for that one. Let me get my little cheat notes out of the way here. Those were all my sizes. Okay, I need to wash or clean this stamp. I might as well clean the other one because I'm going to use that one too. Okay, Soft Succulent. We're just going to add a partial image. Okay, so that's the inside of the little tiny card. And I'm going to do the front, all this at the end. We're going to do everything else first. So there's the little tiny card. Now we're going to close this and go to card number 2. Oh, I need to cover this. I don't want to, you guys. It's my favorite sheet. So what I did when I planned this out, I kind of did a busy pattern, a not so busy pattern, and then a busy pattern. So I'm doing the same thing on this one. There's number 2. Now we're going to stamp, and we're going to use the flower image. I'm going to put one in each corner. A lot of stamping on this one. And then here's that same sentiment we used on card number 1. I don't normally stamp the inside of my cards, but because this one is so fancy, it has so many layers. Now this one's going to go this way. So we're going to take this one. I'm going to put a lot of adhesive. It's going to go right in the center, even with the bottom. Okay, so there's this way and then this way. Now we're going to finish up with the third one. Let me move this because it's shifting on me. And you guys, I have classes for the next 2 weeks. I've already done all my cards using this stamp set because I love it so much. Okay, now let's go ahead. Do the inside of this one. I need the 2 and the 3. Let me see. I need all of these. And all I did was add a large flower. And then I added a couple small flowers. I just wanted to do like a corner. Now we're going to do this little branch thing. Did it twice there. And I snuck one on the end, and the leaf. The leaf is going to be the same color on this one. Okay, so I kind of filled out my corner. My last step is to do the sentiment. And all I did was add ink once, and I did 1, 2, and 3 just to lighten it up. And that's all without re-inking. And you can see I did the same thing on this one with the Night of Navy. Now that's going to go on the inside. So now we can glue this piece to the inside. And again, I'm going to make sure that it's even on the bottom. Now let's bring the little pieces in. I'm going to go ahead and glue the branches down. And as always, I'm going to pick a name, a winner for this card tomorrow morning. Okay, we're going to add 1 branch. Now when you're gluing the branch or anything on this side, this needs to open. So make sure it doesn't stick out so it inhibits it from opening. I want to go a little higher with that. Okay, there's that one. Now we're going to do the sentiment for the outside. Whoops. What did I do? I think I opened it too much. Okay, let me find my sentiment. You should see all the stamps on my counter. Now this one, I'm going to do Soft Succulent. And I'm using the Lasting Label Punch. I'm going to cut that out. And then I want to add a few flowers. So let me get the large flower. I'm just going to stamp a few flowers on the ends. Let me add one more right here. And now we're going to add dimensionals. Now I want to make sure I don't put dimensionals on this end too much. So I'm going to use 4, but I'm going to use it on the left end and on the center. So the biggest part of this card is cutting all the layers. Once you have everything all cut, it goes together really nicely. That's going to go right here. Then we're going to add a little bit of bling. And I just added 3 of these. And that's it. That's my 2 cards for tonight. Let me move all of this over so I can bring all the cards back in. Now, let me go ahead. Well, I can't really open the whole thing, but you can see how that works. There's the one I just did. And then here's card number 1. So I hope you enjoyed my 2 projects. I'll have 2 more next week using the same collection of products. Thanks so much for joining me tonight, everyone. I need to leave to go watch my Yankees play in the World Series. So I will see you guys next week. Have a good week, everyone. Bye-bye.